Today's best music.
Magic 89.9.
Welcome to February. Congratulations, Sam YG.
Look at that. Yeah, the best way to come back to the show. Huh?
Ngiting engaged eh. Oh, ngiting engaged.
Tagumpay.
Honestly, parang hindi ko rin alam ano nangyari. Biglang lumuhod.
Sinabihan ka lang ba? Sinabihan ka?
Pare, I'll show you what happened. Sorry,
What happened? Oh.
Ito, Slick. Alam mo to, Slick, nangyari rin sa'yo to eh. Nasa bahay lang ako.
Oh, relax. Oh.
Oh, you know, di ba, dati na-injure ako sa may right leg, di ba? Alam mo yan, di ba? Mga 20, 30, parang nag-buckle. Gumano, nag-buckle.
But why did you go on your left leg? Why was it your left leg instead of your...
Ayan,
Actually, Tones,
binubuking na ni Tones.
hindi. Kaya nga, Tones, sino gusto ko malaman, bakit ganon? Hindi ko naman...
Bend the knee, ha?
Tapos nagkataon, habang nakaluhod siya, may sigsig na rin eh. Doon eh.
Oh, tapos may sign din. Will you marry me agad?
I want to know, Sam. Why out of all the months and weeks, right, of doing it, why was it last week, and why didn't Master Hans know? That's what I'm.
Yeah, how come we didn't foresee this one?
Master Hans has been.
Saka na nag-propose ka ba, naka-face ka ba sa East? Kasi sabi ni Master Hans, importante daw yun. Kailangan sa East ka daw face this year.
Basta any kind of say proposal, dapat you should be facing East para to make it real and to make it last.
Actually, yun na nga, hindi ko na sabi nga ni Master Hans, sa billboard niya sa EDSA, Hanson ako. Sa love life mo, hands-on. Hindi, nakita mo, naka-ano, diba?
Hands-on, no?
Oh,
hands-on.
Tapos were you nervous right before? I mean, what was the whole thing?
I mean,
okay, ganito na lang.
Yeah.
Para matapos itong business, para to silence everyone.
Okay,
I have a video.
Okay.
I have a video of the proposal, which is, it's an ugly video. Okay, I'm not gonna say, walang the professionally done. It was via Zoom. Nirecord ko lang.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi first, the family of Esa, my family in India, they all wanted to see. So I hit record on Zoom. Ang tanong ko, should we debut this proposal video on Boys Night Out? Yun ang gusto ko malaman.
Oo naman.
Nobody has seen it, pare. Nobody has seen it. I can't even stand watching it. I haven't even watched it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen pictures. I mean, a lot of people have seen pictures. You had a ninja photographer there. But then I think that's maybe the closest that people have seen it. And then people...
ano ka pa? Na-jabyo ka pa, di ba?
Oh, you're everywhere.
I think it's on Bino YouTube. I think that will definitely get the hits. The YouTube video.
So, I wasn't kasi nga condo, so limited people who could come in, diba? I was able to get one photographer, si B-Boy, of course. We work with him a lot. If you guys work in the wedding scene, he's with the team Pat D. And it would be hard to bring in a video team kasi limited. I had to make the number of people that would, So wala nang video. Sabi ko na lang, record ko na lang in Zoom.
Yeah.
Tinawagan ko si Midnight. Sabi ko, Midnight. Direct Midnight, paano ba nire-record tong Zoom na to? Sabi niya, Samway, kailangan mo ng pro account. Sabi ko, legit.
Wala ako dyan.
Napabayad pa.
Oo.
Napabayad. Wala nang budget. Napabayad.
Ito yung mga 1 month trial na. Oh, sige na, I'll just pay for it.
Sana hindi na mo na rin Tones.
Hindi, yun ang ginawa ni Midnight. Pare, binigay ni Midnight sa akin yung password ng Magic. Sabi niya, pare, eto gamitin mo.
Yun!
Magbayad. Eto, lumusot ka. Huwag mo na kwento kay Station guy. Lusot mo na lang.
Ala, you using a Station account for personal gain, ha?
Yeah!
Okay lang yun. Okay lang yun.
Pinoy na Pinoy. Very good, very good. Good job.
Company
So, how far
property
back-
for personal,
I want to know how far back did you know this? Did you just, what is it, just this week? Last week? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? I mean, it doesn't just hit you in the head, right? Obviously. So we're all curious. Because when we found out, I think we were doing the show.
We were actually on air. We were on air, and then that's what I said. Hey, the
People started tweeting na lang.
people tweeted, people messaged, like, okay, so I had to check.
So when did you bump your head and say, you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time. Let's do this.
Oh, actually, ano pa? More than half a year ago.
Nice.
More than half a year.
And so did your plans change, obviously, because of the pandemic? I mean, did you want it, you kept it small, you just decided, okay, let's just do it at the house, let's do it in the extra room?
Actually, with the whole planning, ano talaga ako, I really want it to be simple. Steady lang. I mean, not too crazy. I want to thank si Kaino Ko, who, made the room fantastic look. He made it like transform into something crazy. But I was really planning to do it. Sana, I mean, ideally, we would have at least, SS family also from Cagayan de Oro join us for the event. But wala, because of the pandemic, kaya. So we have to keep it to a small number of people na lang.
Not the best time to invite family. It's actually
friends over. But it was nice. I mean, the whole setup of the room, was that already your idea? I mean, or was that going back and forth? You had to figure out.
Wheatfield, parang Wheatfield yung vibe niya, no?
Parang what was that? A field of dreams.
Mas mura pagpatay na yun halaman eh.
Oo, pare. Tinignan ako si Kaino. Sabi ko, Kaino, wala tayo masyadong budget. Yung Zoom nga, hindi ko ma-afford yung pro account. Sabi niya, okay, meron naman din mga patay na halaman, mga palay. Meeting natin.
Pwede na yan.
Okay tayo, ganda.
Pwede na yan.
Pwede na yan. Sabi niya, ilaw na lang magdadala dyan.
Palay ng bigas eh. Okay eh. Parang
Ganda.
Tapos pare, tinanong ni Kaino sa akin, sabi niya, ano pa meron ka dyan? Sabi ko, meron ako yung Christmas lights, hindi pa namin tinatanggal. Gamitin natin Christmas lights. Sige, tanggal sa Christmas tree, pare. Tinanggal ko yung Christmas lights sa Christmas tree.
Okay, so so you set up the whole room. It looked really nice. Tapos, how did you set the S up? I mean, was it okay? Well, let's have dinner at the house?
Teka, alam mo, si Esa nandito eh. Gusto mo exclusive na natin?
Sige. Pwede.
Diba?
Para magkaalaman.
Dapat lang.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to ask pero sabi ko, I think it's boys night out that deserves the exclusive.
Kasi she just keeps on crying. We see on your IG
stories. Medyo...
Iyak siya ng iyak, bro.
Kung gaano kadami yung ininom niyo sa stories niyo, gano'n din kadami yung iyak niya yata. So,
in her jug, her big jug.
Here's of tequila.
Every tequila shot she would take, parang iyak siya. Ubus ang tequila. I don't know. Nag-jogging siya, so maybe when she gets back, tanong natin, baka...
Okay,
exclusive. No?
Okay, so this was a couple months back. So it was 2020, right? So 2020, in
right
your head.
Smack in the middle of pandemic. Yeah.
So every time that we'd mention that you'd be married, would that preempt it? Did you feel like shit? Okay, damn it, it's being preempted. But obviously we don't know shit, right? We don't know anything. But every time we joke around, was it that far back? Because I think I'd always say it throughout the whole year. Yeah, when Gino joined, right? When Gino joined, I'd always joke like, okay, Sam's next.
At saka yung mga times na kinakakbla ka nito, so sinasabi niya, nakasal ka na. Na-preempt ka ba doon? Parang pag may Taco Tuesday girls tayo dito, sabi niya, well, they're all married. Yung mga ganyan.
Hindi, actually, I can have my mind in place. So, preempt or not, I even made a video for Imperial Blue, no? Yung medyo
New Year.
So wala namang preemption or anything. It was something I really wanted to do. I felt I don't think I'm with a better person, and I'm becoming a better person because of her. So I don't think there's any doubt in my head.
So binura mo na yung mga magaling sa phone mo.
Pare. Pinalitan ko lahat ng pangalan, pare.
So I'm curious.
I thought this guy was about to say he changed his phone.
Was that argument pinnacle? Was that argument pinnacle to you finally saying yes? Because there are some arguments just before the proposal or during the relationship where you go, okay, you know what, this relationship, But because of that argument, the reconciliation, you're like, okay, all right.
This is the one.
We're able
Oh,
to fix
no,
it.
Ride or
no.
die.
We've had bigger fights. I think I made you guys kwento that Spakol girl who texted. That was like a minor fight. We were over it like the next day. I think there were fights that lasted like
Okay
a
lang.
week. Yun yung mga, I forgot bakit. Pero wala ako may kasalanan.
Was that the one that she mentioned?
You're already one step, you're already one step ahead, ha? Acting like a husband na. Hindi ko alam. kung
alam
bakit,
na, alam
pero
na.
ako yung may kasalanan, no?
I think that was the biggest fight. Meron kaming 1 week na away. I forgot why. Ay, alam mo to, Tones. Sorry, alam mo to, Tones, kung bakit. Alam pala yung Tones kung bakit. 1 week kami
But because of that, okay, we won't mention that. But because of that, alam mo na, kasi minsan yung alam mo na pag isang away na malaki, you're like, hintay, let's wait muna. But because you guys worked it out, okay, this is the one. Like, I want to know because it's not every day you propose, you know what I mean? Sam YG was like one of the guys, okay, hindi, mangloloko yan.
Elusive unicorn. Mga ganun, no?
Ipapain
Most
lang ako lang.
eligible bachelor.
And then it seeps out. It doesn't work out in the end. And so now we have Sam YG, who I'm sure all your exes and all the girls that wanted to be with you.
In-unfollow ako, pare. In-unfollow ako.
Oh, the ones that wanted to be the one.
Dalawa, Tones. Kilala mo. Can I mention names? Wag na lang.
No, don't mention it.
Wag na. Ito si PJ, chumichismis pa. Helping local farmers ka dyan. Patay na nga na ano eh.
I mean, it's not every day. So, what was the thinking in your head? What was like, after that huge fight, and then you guys getting back together or working things out? What goes on in your head? Because I'm sure there's a lot of guys that will have that big fight and then say, "Wag na." Na.
Let's end it. Is because
But did you buy the ring? Yes. I'm just curious. Did you buy the ring before that fight or after?
Oh, is it the Spakol fight?
No.
Basta your big fight.
Big fight.
The big fight. Did you buy the ring already?
The big fight was after pa nun. I bought the ring after. The ring was after.
Before.
After all.
Oh, syempre, kasi isosoli mo yun eh. Tama naman eh.
I must say is you have a nice eye
Pero it
for
wasn't.
the ring, huh?
Oy, salamat. It wasn't because of the fight because I really have to say that the decision was through a lot of things, including the fights, including the ups, the downs, the times when you guys are just quiet, when you guys can't do anything with your lives. Sabi nga nila, you know when you know, diba? And that's true, but it's hard to explain. But I'm gonna try to explain why you know when you know.
But it was the pandemic, I think, right? Do you think it was more of the pandemic because you guys spent a lot of time?
No, but I feel like
we were together before that.
Kumbaga parang nag-climax lang during pandemic, pero yung build-up mo nandun na yun eh.
Okay.
Oo naman. But of course, the pandemic
I want to get to know the process of Sam's thinking kasi
it's not
like because there's
no.
that it'll
si Tones naghahanap na rin eh.
Because there are people that it'll fast forward their progress as opposed to Sam and Essa is that you guys were together even before the pandemic. So like what Gino says, it was already escalating. It was there now. And it just
but there's a lot of guys out there.
I would also discount that fact that I think for a lot of couples, it's make or break.
That's true.
Not a make or break, but you get to know so much about your partner during the lockdown, with what the experience. Just because, sabihin natin, even if you guys are boyfriend, girlfriend, you guys are husband. Let's say, take Slick and Doc, for example, or Gino and Colleen. Kahit mag-asawa naman kayo, on a regular day, in the morning, Gino, you go to work. Slick, you go to work. Ging goes to work. Colleen goes to work. It's not like you guys are in the same, probably on weekends, yes, but you guys are not in the same place 24/7. So I'm sure, the lockdown affected practically all couples. this is no matter what 10 years na kayo together, 5 years, 2 years, whatever, married, in a relationship, engaged, it brought your connections to a different level. You discover so much about a person, even about, let's talk about mental health, about how they deal with situations, about decision making, diba? Simple, labas ka ba mag-grocery? Hindi. Paano ka magsisave up for the next 2 weeks? Diba? Financials, how you handle your financials, how you plan, let's say, remember the hard lockdown? You were only allowed to go out for groceries. Tapos, isa lang yung may ID dapat, diba?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sino mag-grocery? Anong bibilin sa grocery? Tapos, do you stock up for the next 1 month? Do you buy supplies for a week? All these things, actually tell so much about a person. They tell so much about a person. So I'm not also gonna lie that the pandemic did not affect the decision. I'm not. It's not why the decision was made, but it definitely, of course, it allowed me to get to know Esa on a different level. Yeah,
I think it plays a big part because if you are alone, you just have to fend for yourself in a pandemic. But when you're living with someone, it exacerbates the nuances that you don't normally see, because a pandemic it can take you. It could actually individually.
It's like the Amazing Race. You know how like in Amazing Race, like a lot of like best friends, couples, they break up because like, and when thrown into a situation that's stressful and 24/7 sila magkasama for that period of time. So parang they get to know so much more about the person. In the same way that the pandemic is kind of like that. Like in a normal setting, like if let's just say you're the type na who would get into an argument, and if you guys are arguing, you go your separate ways first, pampalamig ng ulo. Now you didn't have that option, like it was just, if you're pissed off, if you live under the same roof, like you have to deal with it. You have to figure out a way to deal with it.
It's like The Bachelor. That couple that was about to get married, like the recent couple, I think it was like some Moss dude and this girl Claire and this guy Moss or whatever his deal, I think. Anyways, they were supposed to get married. He proposed because of The Bachelor, and then he comes out on Instagram Live that he can't go through with it. It's just they decided to call it quits.
Yeah, I mean, because you see a lot of that, especially with that show, The Bachelor. You see that when they're within that bubble of that show, they're like, okay, everything is good. Okay, maybe we can get married. But once they're out, oh man, that's when the real world hits them, and they're like, no, we can't be together. It's just not going to work out.
And I think, and this, with all honesty, I think has made me a better person, with or without pandemic aside, when it comes to my attitude with people, my attitude with life, with work, my work ethics, my balance in life and everything. I think I honestly feel I'm a more well-rounded person. And so I don't think anybody has ever...
is this the best that you think you've been with any,
definitely,
any person? With any person?
Not with any person in my life, personally.
No, which
I'm talking from a personal standpoint, regardless of,
And you know it too, right? You know it, you realize when you wake up, you're like, okay, I'm not just an influencer.
Hindi ako influencer pa kasi dati ka
I'm more. Exactly. I'm more. Diba, like an athlete, more than an athlete. Eto si Sam, more than an influencer. You need
more
that
than
on a
just
shirt.
an influencer.
Nakakainis kasi sa job description, di ba? What do you do? Sulat ko, influencer. Tapos lalabas sa immigration, job description, influencer. I post on social.
What's your business? Like Jojo.
My Instagram.
Immigration of Guam. What's your business here? What's your business? Show business.
Patay. What's your business here? Show business.
I had to shake my head. I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to get rejected. He's going to get sent back home.
So yeah, I mean, encompassing, I really feel like I'm a much better person. I'm even improving also as a person. So it's a great feeling.
Did you mention or obviously you Tita Sue knew, but I mean, did you mention to your brother, your sister that, hey guys, because your mom was always worried about you, and finally,
Yes, yes.
you popped the question, that's the only thing that when she says hi to me is, si Sam. And I'm like, Tita, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? That's up to him. But-
no, if Master Hans does not know, how can you know, Tones? Master Hans does not even know. You answer me that question. If Master Hans does not know, Tones, how can you know?
He didn't have a guess for you. I mean, last time that he was here, so he missed out on that one. So it's okay. It's good.
Yung COVID, di niya rin nabasa.
Nauna pa yung buntis eh. Sabi niya, this is the year. Every year.
6 years. 6 years. He's been saying that for 6 years.
Maybe
longer than
you're the one that's the active one.
So,
yeah.
And he'd never say that to Tony for some reason, right? He'd never say that Tony would get a girl pregnant is because he knows Tony always comes prepared. So I guess maybe he thought you were the irresponsible.
So si Samba hindi prepared para.
No, he likes raw.
Niya, no?
Sam's Mr. Raw. How many Indians are
Ross War.
Gino, how many Indians are there in the world? Okay? How many Indians do you think they use? No.
He's just going by the numbers.
I need to do my part. Gotta contribute, man.
Gotta add more. But I mean, that was nice. I mean, everyone.
I want to ask that. Was there any when a guy proposes, right? Is there any slight doubt that there could be a no?
Yeah, that she'll say no.
This shit. Oh my gosh, I'm videotaping this. This. You know what I mean?
What if she rejects me? Like,
yeah. Like, were you like? What was she like?
Kahit a small percentage of you, was there ever any doubt na parang, oh man, like, she might actually say no?
Of course. And pinakamahirap, siyempre I had to call her mom, make paalam.
Yeah. How was that? How you call her?
Mahirap. I think that was the pinakakabado. Doon ako pinakakabado eh.
Saka tawag hindi face-to-face eh. Usually, but I don't know what's easier. Ideally kasi dapat face-to-face, but obviously because of the pandemic. So what was that like?
Yeah, how did you do it? Did you text the mom first? Hey, can I call you? Or you just
No, I was thinking of that. But if you text something like that
alam
to the
na
mom of your girlfriend, no.
You're setting it up na. Nabuntis to.
Baka niya na-jackpot. Baka ito na. Ano mo?
Can I call?
Mga message na, can we talk about something?
Exactly. Yari ka, boy.
When you're free,
You don't text the girlfriend of your mom, Tita, can we talk? You don't do that. Because,
baka ano pa isipin eh.
And the chances are, she would probably call Esa right away.
Yeah, ba't ako gusto kausapin niya, no?
Exactly. So you don't text. You have to be very strategic.
So you called her, and then how do you talk to her? Hi, this is Sam YG. I want to propose.
I texted her first in the morning.
Okay.
I met, of course, as mom already when she was in Manila. She flew in for a couple of weeks before. So I texted her, but I was very careful with the message kasi ayoko can we talk? Diba? I need.
You don't want to preempt anything.
Because I was thinking, if I drop a message like that, kung yun yung wording ng text, tatawagan niya agad si Esa, sabihin niya, bakit ako gusto kausapin ito si Sana meron? So weird ko na naman, Tita, I'm planning a surprise for Esa sometime soon. And I need your help with it. Para hindi rin mag-panic.
But
it's funny because that's the same exact message that I sent the parents of Colleen when I was, kasi yun nga eh, parang pag sinabi mo na we need to talk about something, delix eh. Delix talaga eh.
I'm sure tatawagin si Colleen, yung man na, diba, parang, ba't si Gina, sabi sa akin, we need to talk.
I hope the guys
kailangan yung surprise.
I hope
it's because
our listeners
different, especially
are taking notes.
Pandemic.
I hope our listeners are taking notes. This is some vital information for some guys. Some guys are clueless. So it's important to take these steps, and the learning curve is much shorter.
And you also don't want to text a message na Tita, I'm planning to propose. You also don't do
Oo,
that.
kasi
That's
parang
something you
respeto
don't do.
naman, 'di ba? Na parang, you know, you at least have that conversation, not on text. Yeah.
So
I think Doc and I we were lucky. Is that I was able to talk to her dad face to face. Tapos parang I said, "Oh, sir."
But how did you set that up? Like, were you having dinner together and then Doc went to the restroom or something?
No,
or?
is that almost like every Sunday we'd go to their house, and then
okay.
I just planned
Family
it.
day.
This Sunday it was just us without the you know other family. So when Doc went to the bathroom, that's when I talked.
Iba kasi
Dad.
for me naman, you know, I mean, obviously, like I would hang out with Colin's parents, but like not alone. It would always be like, you know, Colleen would be there. So that's that. Just like what Sam did, I messaged them. I was like, "Hi tita, hi tito. I'm planning a surprise video for Colleen for her birthday. Can I have lunch with you guys to take a video?" And then so when I picked them up, that's when I asked like, "Parang okay, I'm planning to propose and whatever."
Oh, good one. That's a good one.
What if? Kasi at least you already conditioned them na, okay, it's a surprise, so I can tell Colleen. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys ever thought what your backup plan would be if mom
And
or
also,
dad?
before we leave the proposal usapan, I also didn't want to do a cold call, which is also an option. Yung tatawagan mo nilang bigla.
Out of nowhere.
Kasi, of course, you also don't know if, you know, mom's at
It's a
work
good
or something.
time.
Ay mo na naman tawagan and to drop the news.
Sana yung mo, drop call. Tita! Si Sam po to. Babay po.
6 seconds. 6 seconds.
Propose po ako. Nagtitipid po ako ng load.
Alam mo, Gino, in fairness, mahilig ako mag-drop call dati kasi libre, di ba, yung 6 seconds.
Walang bayad.
Pero alam mo ginawa ko, pare?
Ano?
I moved to Smart.
Kumuha ka na smart signature plan?
I heard okay,
Ever
Saan
since
nabalita mo
we got to
ba?
drop call pa.
Nabalita mo ba may kasama na Netflix mga smart signature plan?
Look at me now. Bongga
exactly.
Netflix all day.
Did you guys ever think of if the
Anyway,
parents
Son, your question,
weren't in
your question.
favor? If the parents weren't in favor, if the parents were still not
Ready to give up their daughter or their
not comfortable, what would your backup plan be in terms of what you would say? Like if the parents are like for me, if I was to propose to a girl, I'd have to talk to the parents. I am sure the parents would be like, "Oh, hell no." You know what I mean?
And that's not the only thing, Tones. It's wanting to propose. It's another thing.
Yeah.
Si Sam YG. Si Sam patay. Kang bata ko.
naman. Yan ang big time, ha?
Kasi, parang bakit yan?
Yeah.
Sigurado ka ba dyan? Naku.
I mean,
Pero
you're
may sinabi ba yung mom niya sa'yo? Like, did she have like a, you know, kind of like a warning or whatever na parang, you know, because you know how like in movies it's always like that, you know, one of the parents will always be like, yo, you better take care of my daughter or whatever, which actually I never got, you know, like, you know, thankfully, like when I asked the parents of Colleen to that I was going to propose to her, like they were both very, very welcoming, you know, they were both like, they even offered like, yo, you can live with us first, and I'm like, no, it's okay.
Did you do a background check on you? Because I know some parents do that. They do a background check.
And you know, they knew like what my job was and whatever, and you know, even where I went to school.
Isa kang DJ lang.
No naman. They're very decent, nice folks. So
I mean, that's probably one of the hardest things to hear is coming from a parent is, what do you do? Oh, man.
no, hindi, pero kung sinabi mo kay Sam yan, parang isa ka lang DJ, nakita mo ba yung mga kotse ko? Huh?
Exactly.
Nakita mo ba yung mga kotse ko? Alam mo ba
Kotse and
kung sino-charge
property.
ko para sa isang post on social media?
Iba si Sam.
Pag sinabihan si Sam na parang, influencer ka lang. Excuse me, influencer ako. Yun.
And I think they would probably be, you know, at the same time, medyo kalma. Kasi they see him on TV, they're like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
We
I
see
put
him.
the flu in influencer.
You put the flu in COVID too.
I put the flu in COVID.
Yeah, not dangerous.
No.
my
Pag-usapan
God.
namin, Slick, may bago ang problema. Yung child seat, pare. Kay Archer. 12 years old.
12 years old daw, naka-child seat daw.
Paano kakasa doon? Anyway, tama yung pag-usapan yan. Anyway,
Yeah,
let's
let's get
kasi mainit ulo kanina eh. Nag-usapan niya. Saan daw siya bibili ng seat para kay Alonso?
So that's gonna be a new law.
Crazy, right?
Which is
Some
not thought
of
of.
the 12-year-olds, man, they're taller than I am. You know?
Exactly, yun nga eh.
It's not really thought of,
Nope.
you know, by what's his name, transportation, Ginto. You know, I mean, he. This is a kamote answer. You know, I mean, sorry to say.
Bumili ka daw ng mas malaki na kotse.
LTO director, this is attorney Ginto. He expects everyone to buy a bigger car in a time where it's not great to spend at all. So he's telling everyone to buy, and just think of the logic. You know,
In a time where only people like Tony can afford to buy a new car.
Oh, exactly.
ako trabaho.
For Tony, he's like, okay, fine, I can get another one.
Yeah.
Wala. I just think it's his way of thinking and logic for some of our people in power just kumote talaga.
No, but then he actually replied. He put that up on
We'll take note.
the LTO Facebook, I think, not mistaken. That he says that I'm sorry for the confusion I have caused with my remarks, which was made in jest. I now realize it was inappropriate. To clarify, if the child is above 4'11", the child is exempted from using a child car seat under the law and may be secured using the regular seat belt.
Okay. Well, then in that case, then that's good because I mean, obviously,
You
like
stated that in the first place. You should always car seats should be based on height, not of age.
and I always thought that car seats were already mandatory.
Yeah,
Height and weight.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
apparently not. Apparently not.
Kaya 411, tama, nag-release ng statement.
Okay, that's good.
Parang roller coaster na lang daw.
I bet you he didn't know. I bet you it's the attorney totally didn't know. And then when he went back,
You don't
he's
think he
like,
has a 12-year-old kid?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And then you saw that post. I think someone posted on the BNO Hatline about that one parent that bought their kid a car seat, and he's like 4'11", and he's already hitting his head on the roof.
Yeah, on the roof.
It's ridiculous. I mean, you're far away from there, Sam, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's something to think about, especially.
Ikakasal pa lang. Child seat na
Yeah, we're
agad.
thinking about child seats again. But I mean, like a child
naman si Sam.
A child seat would be like, say, for a kid up to 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then after that,
Anything past that, they can pretty much wear a seatbelt already.
or you can go into a booster seat.
A booster seat, yes.
A booster
No,
seat
it's
is
so
because
funny.
the seat belt will still, choke them out.
Yeah,
What's a booster seat?
At the end of the day,
Pampataas lang ng
kid-
para lang so you can elevate the child and then have the seatbelt not
Yeah.
there.
Parang sa barbero. Di ba sa barbero, apple box
yeah.
dati pag maliit
Oh.
ka.
Yeah, but the
parang
thing is, my question is, it has always not been. It's never the private vehicles. My question is the public vehicles, the buses,
Oh,
the
ganda.
the jeepneys, the FX, the UV Express. Do you think that parents that ride the public vehicles, these public transportation vehicles, have car seats? They're going to invest in car seats? No. I think that's more dangerous than a private vehicle that you own and having your kid in the car at least. Because these public vehicles, have you seen them? My gosh, when the bus stops, I go flying.
Oh,
I don't know if you
That's
guys
you know what?
have
That's
bus.
actually a good question because even in first world countries, I don't know how they deal with that. Like even if their transportation system is super good, I've never seen a car seat in a bus.
No.
In Singapore, when
How do they do it?
When we used to go, is that for example, we'd be taking Ubers to get around. Is that you have to specify if you have a kid under 4 years old? Is that either you have to get one with a car seat or you have to have your own? So that's why we always brought our own. And I've seen parents be rejected by drivers in Singapore saying no, your kids.
But this is for like Uber and a cab or Grab
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever. But
different.
what about like a
a
bus?
Is on a bus. There's no
Wala.
child seat, but then because we had a
Older
stroller
kid.
when we were in Sydney, is that he has to be against the wall.
Right.
No. In public vehicles, you have to be seated. That's why they always give you the right of way to sit down for elderly and for kids. In a proper, obviously, in a city that's or in a country that's
that respects
looking out
rules
for its citizens, you always give the seat to the mother or the elderly in the front. In the front, like in our in our public transportations here, if you see someone in the subway with a child or in a bus, you step away and you let the kid and the mother sit down, and the mom has to hold the kid in the lap. And that's for all. That's known here, but obviously in other countries, people don't practice it. You know what I mean? That's the courtesy. It's the common courtesy, and then they have a sign pa. The seats, which in the MRT it has. In the MRT it has that. In the Philippines, but no one follows it. No one.
Because open seat means open season.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are.
Kumbaga, kung magpapa-box out ka, magpa-box out ka. Yun lang yun.
Kawawa ka.
So I think this is just. I hope they enforce it properly, because if not, it's just going to be another.
And
But then again,
plus they were saying the trouble too is also the tint.
yeah, because with the dark tint, hindi rin naman
cannot
makikita yung nasa loob. Like, have you seen those, those Alphards, those vans, those SUVs?
Have you seen Sam's cars? I can't see Sam. I've never seen Sam drive because I can't see him.
Because his is like a two-seater.
Malalaman mo na sa plaka eh.
Oo.
Hindi. Tawag dito. Ano ba? Hindi ko alam ano na ba yung official car of the Pogo eh. Ano na ba? Alphard or ano?
Alphard pa rin yata. Alphard pa rin yata.
Pag bossing level, Alphard, no?
Alphard.
Pero pag people level,
Nice.
Have you guys been to what they call the Pogo Village?
Which one is this?
Sa dulo ng Makapagal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot what the village is called. Marina Village or something?
Yes.
Something like that.
Something like that. Dude, I have never in my life seen so many Alphards and high aces parked.
Feeling
It
ko nga,
was
di ba?
like a warehouse.
Di ba when you get an Alphard, if I'm not mistaken, like it's a 6-month wait or something like that. I really feel that that's because of all the, purchases of the Pogo. Oh.
Yeah. If you go to one of those casinos in Macapagal,
That area, yeah.
if you go on the third or fourth level, if you've been,
full.
So yeah, one of our friends, his dad runs that, and I'm like, it's like supercars galore, and then the next level,
Wongster.
yeah, and I was like, what the hell is this?
I mean, we were trying to watch the Jokoi show there, and then you're just like, no, that one whole level right after the fourth, that's all those vans.
That's his parking lot.
Yeah.
That's basically his parking lot. He bought the three or four. I don't know how many floors he bought, but that's basically that's what he uses as his parking lot.
And
I'm like,
it's crazy.
wild the Pogo business.
And
But I
it's
think
not
they've
like
gone down,
Alphards are
right?
cheap because like they're what, 4.5 per?
A lot of them have left. Diba, Sam? Diba, a lot of them have left already.
No, pero ang dami pa rin eh. Ang dami pa rin.
There's still a lot. Yeah, I mean, you still see it. Like here in the Philinvest area, you still see a lot of those vans. You're like,
Dami pa rin.
look at them go.
Tsaka yung condos na, diba, you'll see them waiting sa baba ng mga condo.
Malalaman mo pag maraming Pogo sa condo usually kasi yung announcements nila multilingual. May multilingual na.
Tsaka ganun na. Right.
Right. So many things happening here in the Philippines. And then also that funny law is that no matter if you are one or more, is that you should be wearing a mask in your car, even if you're with your family.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable if it's a public vehicle. Like
if it's a public vehicle, then yes. So,
No
but like
doubt.
if you're in the same house anyway, then and doesn't that fall under? Correct me if I'm wrong, but if it's your car, then it's private property. Whatever's inside of it is your property. So it's kind of like telling people at home na nasa bahay kayo, dapat nakamask din kayo. Because it's your property, so you're supposed to be. Remember, this became an issue also before when people would smoke inside their cars, and it was parang kasi what you do inside your car
Yeah.
should be entirely up to you. You know,
That's why a lot of guys,
It's private
Gino, di ba, Gino, when that law came into play, a
Dami
lot of guys
naka-sunroof.
only, sunroof, or they would put down the window and then just
Konti lang.
Konti, yeah,
nakahawak lang
Oh.
at the little, you know, the little
crack.
opening of a car,
Yeah.
and they would hold the Yossi out, and then some guys still do it. For those that still smoke cigarettes, you know, they can't wait to just get,
light
you
it
know,
up.
to get out of the car and light a smoke. So they'll go in their car and, you know, ibababa yung window na konti, 2 inches, and they'll smoke. You know what I mean? And they won't get caught. I mean,
Kasi with that whole mask inside car law, rule, whatever, it makes sense if you're gonna talk to somebody. Like, let's just say you go into a mall and then you're supposed to get a parking ticket or whatever. Before you put down your window, then you put on a mask, and that makes sense because I mean, obviously you're interacting with somebody. But if you're inside your own car, then alam mo yun, parang it kind of feels like they're just looking for ways to make money out of it. Like,
right.
if you
That's what
give you a
masamang part,
citation,
diba?
oh, and parang walang sense eh. Like, it really
Parang
doesn't
you
make
can't
sense.
understand. Is that okay? You guys can be free in your house, but then in your car, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, which is essentially an extension of your property. You know, whatever's inside of the car.
it is a money making thing. I think they're just trying to find ways, you know, to squeeze whatever bit of cash they can. You know, they have to find new ways, and I think this is the kamote. Ito kamote Mondays. I swear, you know.
But then again, if you think about it, like, how often do they enforce the law anyway? You know,
Yeah.
we'll have all these new rules, we'll have all these new regulations. We can't even enforce the basic ones, like
It's
staying
our right
in your
to
lane.
complain.
Or even just wearing a helmet
Oh,
for,
yeah, for sure.
riders. I mean, you
Yeah.
see that all the time. Is you see two people riding, say, a little scooter, and then they have no helmet whatsoever. And
Exactly, Slick. And you know what? Had they gone to the Honda safety driving school like you did, then they would have known. that.
ganda
They
ng
would have
pa-
known.
They would have known
I mean,
that.
you're going on your Airblade 150. You know that it goes fast, but you're safe, right? You're safe.
You know.
Dapat nun. But then I saw James Deacon. He posted a few days ago. Is that someone actually got stopped along NLEX for that?
Yeah. Oh.
And it
For
was
driving
wild.
without a mask?
Without a mask. He was in a private car. He was with his family, and they gave him a ticket. And if not mistaken, it's like 2,000 pesos.
Ito ba yung ano? Tapos yung the violation had absolutely nothing to do with the mask. Like, I think if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
parang it was reckless driving or something like that.
Reckless. Yeah, that's the one.
It makes sense.
It's so funny. Tim Yap's fine was 1.5.
Mas mahal. Oo nga, 1.5. Yun na naisip ko rin eh. Parang mas mura pa yung fine dun sa...
It was a total of 45,000 pesos.
and what is it? The matter 9,000 pesos?
I think so. I'm not sure.
But the guy resigned,
It's-
diba? Parang the mayor resigned as the czar of...
It's the SAR of contact
Contact
tracing.
tracing. Yeah.
yeah, he resigned.
And I have to give Mayor Magalong a salute.
For
Taas
doing that,
kamay. For the
Probably the
integrity,
first person to do that in Philippine
He's the
politics. To just
for
To
for a
step down.
top for a very, you know, respect, like top decision, top executive to actually bitaw, to make bitaw a position like that is unheard of in the Philippines. And I give him more praise than you know, more hate, because that shows his
Integrity
integrity.
lang.
Yes.
may
exactly.
delikadesa ng ano, diba? Para to some
And
degree.
you know, it's like, hey, basketball is that, hey, I committed the foul. He put his hand up and you know, I resigned.
As much as he was so strict, you know, in the protocols in Baguio, because Baguio was hard. You know, it's tough. You know,
Super.
they're
They were actually one of the last to open.
Yeah. And they had strict protocol, just like in Iloilo. You know what I mean? It was hard to get into Baguio, and now, you know, I mean, it's one thing that he tries to do to, you know,
boost
obviously-
tourism.
Hopefully boost.
tourism. Yeah, you know, everyone's hurting there. They have no other livelihood except tourism, you know. And the Instagram got him in the butt, you know, Facebook Live or whatever, Instagram Live, just one video, and he steps down for something that he's rightfully, you know, I mean, highly qualified, and he decides, you know what, I don't want to, I can't take it. I want out. I want to know who they're going to replace him with, but that's another story. But saludo kami. Because integrity is hard to find in politics these days, especially in the Philippines. You know what I mean? No one steps down with something like that.
Nobody walks away from the power.
Yeah.